I'm Nick Honeyman. I'm an executive chef and I've worked in restaurants all around the world. I love nothing better than cooking up a storm with my team in the kitchen. We run on pure adrenaline. So it's good to get out and reconnect with the real world. In this new series, I discover why New Zealand fresh food is world class.
That is divine.
And I do loads of cooking along the way. Food is not just my passion, it's my life. This week I visit Waikato and meet some prime cattle. I make a Scotch beef fillet with a chimichurri sauce and oyster mushrooms. I go into a Feijoa frenzy.
Wow.
And make a Pacific-style raw fish dish followed by a Feijoa creme brulee. Any time is a good time for tea, as I discover New Zealand's only organic tea plantation and make a divine chocolate tart.
Well, let's get some more of this into it.
My favourite.
Yeah.
The mighty Waikato River lends its name to the Waikato region in the North Island. Lush and green, this is prime farming country. And there's another green in these parts, Greenlee Premier Meats. These 2-year-old cattle will be sent to Greenlee to be processed. It's a remarkable story of how a small family butcher's shop ended up as a global exporter. Akau Stud, near Raglan, is one of their main suppliers. So how many acres does your property extend?
We've got 4,000 acres here. We're halfway between Raglan and Port Waikato. We're 3 miles in from the coast, and we finish 2,000 cattle a year here and 3,000 lambs.
Greenlee's requirements are a good, well-finished prime animal, 350, 360 kilos. We do take them heavier for specific markets, but basically, as David said, full in the brisket, shiny in the coat, doing well. They've been on this lush te akau grass, been growing at 2 kilos plus a day, and they'll be absolutely delicious eating. You would never get them more natural than this lovely location.
Akau Stud is one of the biggest names in New Zealand racing, with business interests in Singapore too.
David, what a stunning horse. She is beautiful.
Yes, this is a filly that I bought for Coolmore Stud based in Ireland. She's a filly that's shown a lot of ability. She won her first start very well, and we're getting her ready for the New Zealand Oaks early next year.
Maybe I better start saving up my money.
Well, you can't afford not to be in the team, can you?
It's true. But it's cattle that were David's first love, and they still take up most of the grazing. The cattle are drenched only once when they arrive, receive no antibiotics, and go to Greenlee Premier Meats in prime condition.
One of the things I always say to my farmer clients is, would you eat it? Because you have to remember that the next trip, once these magnificent te akau bullocks leave the farm, is they're going to be dished up on someone's plate. So I always say to farmers, would you eat it? You know, grow something that you're proud enough to dig your own teeth into.
It's a simple philosophy, but it's the best, isn't it?
Most definitely, most definitely.
It's time to get cooking. Greenlee's premium beef has recently become available in selected shops, and I'm keen to check out the range. I'm going to make a dish using one of my favourite cuts of meat. From Greenlee Premier Meats, I've got a delicious Scotch fillet here. I'm going to do it in a pan, so we're going to do it nice and quickly. On top of the stove, this meal will take me no longer than 10 minutes from start to finish. So let's get going, and I'll start with a chimichurri sauce. I have got chopped garlic and chopped shallots. Pop them in the bowl. I like a little bit of spice. I'm going to add half a chilli. I want to give it a little bit more depth. We're going to add a teaspoon of Tabasco. I'm going to add a small spoon of wasabi paste. That's going to give it a nice little kick. I'm going to add some sherry vinegar. Most importantly, we're going to add lots of fresh herbs, lots of parsley, and plenty of fresh thyme. And this chimichurri sauce will last in your fridge for a week and is great for barbecues. This is quite a powerful dressing. We've got lots of big, bold herbs in there, bold flavours, and it's going to really match the natural fat that we find in our Scotch fillet. So I'm going to add a really good amount of oil to this. Remember, this is going to be a dressing. So we're just going to set that aside. The most important thing to cooking our Scotch in a pan is to have it cut correctly and at room temperature. So I like my Scotch nice and rare, so I've cut it about 2 centimetres thin. If you'd like it medium, we'll hit it with the back of a knife to tenderise it a little bit and thin it out. So in the pan, I've got a splash of oil, really nice hot pan. I'm going to season the top of my meat and I'm going to season the base of my pan. In it goes. I'm going to go for about 1 minute on either side. So we need to get cracking with our garnish, which is going to be the mushrooms. Today I've got Swiss brown shiitakes. You can add any mushrooms that are in season. I want these really nice and thin, so they cook very quickly. We're not going to overcook them. I want the texture of the mushroom to shine through. In go my mushrooms. Straight away I can hear the sizzling in the pan, which means I know the pan's hot enough. So I'm just going to have a little look at my beef here. Underneath, I can see that amazing caramelization, and I think it's time for me to turn it over. So for every 2 minutes that I cook, I rest it for 50% of the time that I'm going to cook it. I can feel that this is good to go. I'm going to add a knob of butter to encapsulate the juices and the flavours, and a splash of lemon juice just for a little bit of acidity. And then that's it. Ready to come out. Gonna pop it onto the board. Juice is on top. So we need to let it rest, let the proteins relax, and it'll be beautiful, tender and soft. Same deal with our mushrooms. So you want to get the nice colour before you add anything to it. And I can see that it's caramelised and it's ready to come off. And we're ready to go. I'm just going to pull these off the heat. So our scotch is really well rested. So I'm just going to slice it quite thinly. So we're just going to pop it on the bottom. A few mushrooms on top. And then a good lashing of our chimichurri. And I guarantee you all of these flavours together are going to hit every part of your palate. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. Are you ready to try this?
Sure am.
Certainly are.
I can't promise that it's good.
Well, it looks beautiful to me.
It looks pretty tasty. From out on that green grass to this.
That is beautiful.
Delicious dish, Nick. Absolutely magnificent.
No, thank you very much. But I think next time I'm going to come here. I'm going to let you cook for me on your Weber barbecue. I heard that you've got world-class cooking skills, as well as a world-class farm.
Oh, we'll give it a go.